Okay.
Good. That was smart.
So I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Village of Corrales governing body to order, please.
One of the big mistakes.
Please put your phones on vibrate or turn them off. And then stand, once you've done that, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. After the Pledge of Allegiance, please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of those who have died in the flooding over there in the hill country of Texas. We all understand flooding here in this part of the country. Unfortunately, they suffered the ultimate. Okay, thank you very much. I know everyone feels very bad about all those people. I think many of them could have been prevented, but it's water. I mean, to be funny or punny. Okay, so first, Counselor Mira.
President, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the.
Okay, very good. Counselor Woolman.
Here.
Counselor Knight.
Here.
Counselor Alsobrook
Here.
and Counselor Burkett.
Here.
Counselor Murray.
Yes, I'm here.
I see you. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Counselor Woolman and a second from Counselor Knight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. All right. We have an appointment of Chris Allen. She's being reappointed to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission. And she is here. It's okay. It's okay. It's kind of like passing a test, you just got to get there. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve, Chris?
Move to
We have a
approve.
motion. Do I have a second? And a second? All those in favor, or would somebody like to hear her speak?
I would like to hear her, see how she got here on the bicycle.
Oh, I got here physically today. I just came for the farmers meeting. Do you have any specific questions for me? I was a little
Mayor-
cheated on my application. I
Oh,
apologize.
Stuart may have a question.
Well, yeah, it's like I asked the rest of the applicants last time. What's your passion behind being on the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Commission?
I'm an equestrian, a bicyclist, a walker, and a dog walker. I've been involved in those activities as long as I've lived in the village, which is decades. And in fact, the resolution that sets up this committee is what I wrote when I was the village administrator. I knew it looked familiar when I was given it. So I've been involved in these issues for a very long time. And I just spent 2 years talking to citizens about the same issues.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mayor.
Mayor,
Thank you. Oh, Counselor Alsobrook.
a quick question if I may. I know we had a little bit of contact about this previously. Have you had any chance to, or anyone on your committee, to digest the new law regarding bicyclists in New Mexico that went into effect July 1st, which for everyone else, bicycle riders no longer have to stop at a stop sign. They can cruise right through if they determine it's safe. And if they come to a red light, they have to stop. But if they determine it's safe, they don't have to wait. They can just go.
Right. Our committee unfortunately met before you and I had our chance to have a conversation, and we don't meet again until August. But
Well,
at
love
that
to hear
time,
from you then.
yeah, at that time, we will certainly bring it up. I can speak as an individual. I think it's nuts. But I don't understand the rationale for it, but I can't speak on behalf of the whole committee.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
More housework avoidance strategy. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, and now we will have a presentation of the VFW National Law Enforcement Award to Police Chief Victor Mangiacapra. Terry, would you bring up your crew and introduce them to us, please?
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for letting us come here and do this presentation.
I'd like to introduce our commander of the Corrales VFW Post 5432, our adjutant Steve Marsh, and I'm Terry Brown. I'm the senior vice commander.
And he was the former grand marshal of our parade.
He was. He's past commander.
And we really appreciate you guys coming here.
We
Please.
appreciate the opportunity to do this. I want to say how thrilled we were that this award came back to us from National, because we had picked Chief already and given him our award for our post. And we sent his information upstream and figured, okay, might make state, might make region. All of a sudden, he made national, he was selected, and they've sent it back. So he's being nationally recognized.
So he really is a good police chief.
Yeah. If he'll come on up here, we'll get this done. Okay, so I'm gonna read this, and then if I step on my tongue on your name, you'll have to just. Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, VFW National Law Enforcement Award presented to Chief of Police Hector Mangiacapra. Victor, excuse me. It's written in,
Well, we can call him Hector, it's.
yeah.
Now,
He's a good guy. In recognition and utmost appreciation of his dedication and selfless service to the Village of Corrales Police Department. During Chief of Police Victor Mangiacapra's outstanding career, he has maintained a record of highly professional and exemplary service to the community and to the nation. His extraordinary commitment clearly illustrates the proud core values and traditions of the law enforcement profession, further highlighted by the degree of admiration and respect of both his peers and the local public that he serves. Chief of Police Victor Mangiacapra is truly an exceptional example of all who wear the badge, and his honor reflects the proud ideals and high standards of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. In witness hereof, we have hereto set under hands the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, signed Alfred L. Lepard, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan Weiss, Adjutant General. And sir, it's my pleasure to present this to you.
Thank you.
Yep. Everything is legal. That's pretty something. Well, you think how many?
Oh,
Yes.
Well, the council is always behind it.
That's right.
We go up here too? I was gonna say, you think how many?
Right? Yeah.
You got it.
Waiting on the mayor.
Counselor Mieta, can you step to your right pad? There we go. Okay. All right. Mayor, I can't see you. You're behind the chief's head. Here, we'll try that.
Got a big.
Okay.
Thank
Terry, thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just briefly, this is really a testament to the entire department. Without everybody's hard work and the support from the mayor, administrator, council, and all the village staff and the citizens, we couldn't do what we do. So thank all of you.
Hector, thank you
Okay.
for.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now we'll move on to something that's a little more mundane, I guess. Mosquitoes and vector control presentation by Dr. Paul Sandoval. Dr. Sandoval? Please.
Thank you for having me here, everybody.
Oh, thank you for coming.
So I didn't know what anybody wanted. They said it was going to be more of a question answer for them. I can give you a load of information and then we can go from there. How's that?
That's great.
So mosquito problem is still in full operation. We ended the year last year with this girl. This is the new mosquito. And believe it or not, she looks just like this.
She's kind of big, isn't she?
She's really big. But you see the stripes on her?
Yeah.
That's how we identify her.
Ooh.
And you'll notice her when you see her. She's very different than anything we have around here. We've had the floodwater mosquitoes. She's probably been here now. I'm gonna say a year and a half. We're gonna be going on 2 years now. Once she's here, she does not leave. She's horrible, what she carries and what she does. So it's a fight. The city of Albuquerque is beginning the fight now. What they're doing is they're using that big truck that, I don't know how that'll ever go over in Corrales. But what it does is it shoots the stream right up in the air, 100 feet, and then the wind carries it into the housing areas. And the idea is it will get this larvicide goes into everything it can. Any pots, kids' toys, whatever's in the yard. It's not the larvicide is not natural. It's a bacteria that we've used forever. So it doesn't hurt anything, can't kill anything, doesn't make any horses sick. But the education of this, when you see that big truck coming down the street, yeah, I think it'd be a nightmare. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen in Albuquerque and what kind of results they get. I mean, just any residue that's left on a car, someone's window, you might get it on your window on your house. People will not be happy, but that's one of the newest ways they're using to fight this girl.
So,
So bad.
so you say it's natural?
Yes.
Okay, so it won't cause any problem with people?
Doesn't cause any problems with people or animals. And
What
it's
problem-
we currently use it now. The
Yeah.
little dunks you may have heard of or seen.
Yes.
It's the same product, but in liquid form and just put out in mass.
What diseases does this mosquito carry?
She carries everything we haven't seen in this country for a few years. But she carries, of course, the Zika. Some people know her as the Zika mosquito, the yellow fever mosquito. She carries chikungunya, dengue, all the encephalitises, which we are now dealing with.
Did you say dengue?
Dengue, yes.
Like dengue fever?
Right, yes, stuff we have not seen, stuff.
Oh,
that-
yeah, that's from Asia.
Stuff that's been eradicated and gone is now coming back. And the reason it's back, as Americans, we travel and we get stuff, we bring it back. Well, if it wasn't a problem, if you came back with it and it didn't go anywhere, because she didn't exist. But she's moved in and she carries it. So that's how things are beginning to move. That's why when Zika hit in Florida, when it started, they couldn't figure out what was going on and they tracked it back to her. They figured out she had come in also and was causing the problem. So she's very aggressive. Our typical mosquitoes that we have here are the encephalitis mosquitoes. We're worried about the animals, the horses, humans. And Corrales have had a lot of humans that have been positive and death cases here. We're probably the number one in the county. And Rio Rancho is coming up quick behind you. So this is the new thing we're trying to deal with and figure it out. Some things we've learned nationally, not just me, is that if we spray between midnight and sunrise, the death rate is higher on this thing. I don't have an answer as to why, but we're doing some tests in that. One of the other cities in New Mexico, we have in Grants, New Mexico, because they've got a bad problem. But she's here. She's from the river all the way up. It's not a secret at this point, and it's the citizens that are helping us because they check in with city or the village office, and then the village office contacts us. We call the citizen back and we show up at their house, or now they send us pictures. And yeah, there's no question she's here. So we just want to try and figure out a way to slow her down. The program has not stopped. The county's behind the program 100%. We're just having to make some changes as we go. That's it. We're working with, we think these came out of Rio Rancho and ended up down here, which is funny because when I started, the mosquitoes from here were in Rio Rancho up along the ridge. And once we got Corrales under control, that stopped. But that's coming down here. She's in what we call our urban mosquito. She likes to be among the houses. She wants to be right with everybody. The other flood mosquitoes, they're out in the field. We can treat those. We can fog them. It's easy. She's not so easy. She's pretty tough. So that's where we sit at this point.
Councilor Mira?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. More than a few houses up in my district have that little sign, no fogging,
Right.
and it's relatively small. And now that you said you might be doing it at night, when you do it, You think you're gonna be able to acknowledge those signs and what do you do, stop frames for that little bit of time and then keep on going?
On the no fogging areas, yeah, we've had those forever now, and we just avoid the areas. If it's a lot of houses on Ranchitos on the corner, when you turn off the Coronado, that's all a no fog area. Signs, signs, signs. So we don't start till we get past that about a few houses. We went out last year when she came into town, and we went up and down every street in Corrales to figure out what we were gonna do. And we marked off the streets because some of the streets, they were spray streets, but they had bees right in front. So we kind of cut that off. But we marked everything, so we kind of know where we can, where we can't go.
Okay.
Our product won't harm bees. Applied properly according to the label, it's fine. But if you're a bee owner, you're still skeptical because it's something that if used improperly would wipe out a hive, I guess, if we backed up to the hive. But I don't think we've had any bee death since I've been doing this in the county.
Thank you, sir.
Councilor Knight.
So besides the valley here, will you go up to the Sandhills?
Yeah, we cover every Corrales, all of it. We've got her all the way. She's all the way up.
Thank you.
We
You're
do-
spraying now?
What's that?
You're spraying now?
Yes.
Okay.
We start usually April 1st. Do all the preliminary work, the water, the larvicide. We start there first. And we have the Gambusia fish and some of the water that's around here, so they do a lot of cleaning for us.
Okay.
I have one question. So will people identify this? Is she bigger? You said she has the stripes on her. You know, mosquitoes are pretty teeny.
Right.
So how do you know it's one of those?
She's smaller, but she's very pretty actually. I mean, this isn't pretty. Look for the tag. She's actually quite pretty because you've never seen anything like it around here. But you'll know when you get it or when you see it or you smash it, you'll know what it looks like. It's obviously different and it's smaller because it's new around here.
And does like regular bug spray keep her at bay or?
Yes.
Not really?
Anything
Okay.
for the other mosquitoes will keep her away, but she's more active. She's more dangerous than the other mosquito because if you get the floodwater mosquito, she's going to bite. And if you hit her, she'll hang on right there to finish the bite. She'll move. So she may, if you wind blows, they usually bite right below the knees. That's how I can tell. People call with bites and everything's below the knees. I'm going, that's probably her. But she'll bite and bite and bite. So she's injecting anything she can into you multiple times. If it's a group standing together, 4 or 5 folks, the other mosquito, the floodwater, will bite and leave. She's going to go to everybody. That's just the way that they are. So that's the newness. The other newness we're fighting for this year is the midge, called the biting midge. Some people call it an oceum. CDC introduced that to us last year. It's never been a vector. We never really cared about it. We tell people there's nothing we can do. It is now a vector of virus.
What does it carry?
It's a whole new thing. They think it's encephalitis and another one. I haven't dealt with her a lot yet. We just are beginning to. It's a different method of control. So the fogging will help knock those out, but it's different. The water treatment is a little different than what we currently do for mosquitoes.
Do you have a public service announcement that you already have written up that you could send to us and we could put it out on our website and in the mayor's message to let people know about it and to let people know that you're going to be spraying?
I can get something in. to
Okay.
you. I don't have anything.
Just send it to Melanie Romero, our village clerk, and
Sure.
we can get it out.
Okay. Yeah, she works with me all the time.
Yeah.
She keeps me on my feet.
She does that to us too.
Good. Okay, so that's it. We've got the biting midge, this mosquito program is in operation. We're avoiding bees. We do avoid all no spray signs. And do
Okay.
what we can.
Mayor,
So-
this Councilor Murray.
But go ahead. Would you have a question? You have to
Yeah,
come up here, identify yourself and ask your question.
Bill Perkins, 5768 Corrales Road. Just a question about pollinators in general. I know that some of the gardeners, some of the farmers care passionately about the value of the natural pollinators, not just bees, but others as well. Is the fogging going to have an adverse effect on the pollinators in our community?
It should not. Even the mosquito is a pollinator, which I just found out about a year ago. And I've been doing this for too many years. So yeah, it won't affect them. Mainly because of the hours that we apply, which is usually the evening, and the pollinators are gone. And we usually don't get to Corrales till, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It's safer for us that way.
I could probably agree with that.
We found out over the years, we've had guns pulled on us, rifles pulled on
Right.
us. Yeah, had the
Mayor,
sheriff
this is Councilor Murray.
waving our
Councilor
butt.
Murray.
So does she have a name? I mean, or I missed it at the beginning of the presentation, but you keep referring to her as she. What's the
Yes.
official name?
It's only the she's that bite. So Aedes aegypti is what she's called. She's also
Formed over.
commonly as the Asian tiger mosquito because of the stripes.
Okay.
Real,
Any other questions?
real quick, will she go to those blue lights?
I do not have an answer.
Okay.
I can't tell you. They seem to be drawn towards light. All mosquitoes do. So, and people try different things out here, depending how big their pasture is, what horses they have. They try different things, and the larvicides work.
Okay. Yes, please send us something and we can get out to everybody.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay, I thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And come back anytime you have more information you want to share.
I will do that.
Okay, thanks again. Now we'll move on to the administrator's report, probably the most exciting part of the meeting.
Correct. Tanya, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor, Counselor, Administrator Curry. Let's continue where he left off on the Egypti mosquito. It also likes coming out during the heat of the day. It'll come out day and night, but it will come out 80, 95 degrees in the sun. So, and we have definitely seen them here in Corrales. As far as the midge is carrying the Oropouchi, and that is the actual name, virus. And the main ones for animals are blue tongue disease and some zoonotic hemorrhagic fevers is what they're suspecting the midge of carrying right now. So let's move on to measles. So measles was considered eradicated in 2000.
Yeah, 25.
However, this has now become the largest outbreak since that point in time with 1,277 cases, Texas #1. 2 out of 3 cases are in Texas for a total of 790. New Mexico is #2 with 95 cases right now. And then Kansas is #3. And there have been 107 new cases in the last 4 weeks. And we look at a 4-week period because the incubation period for measles can be up to 42 days. So in the last 4 weeks, Texas has had 13 cases, New Mexico 14, and Kansas is the winner of the bad news with 15 cases in the last 4 weeks. As far as COVID is concerned, Sandoval County is at 4.63% lab tested positivity, where the state is only at 3.6%. The state has had 134 lab cases in the last 7 days. Sandoval County has had 23 cases in the last 14. Don't know why the state chooses to break some down by 7 days and some by 2 weeks. The United States, the positivity rate has gone up just a little bit from 3% to 3.1%. ED visits have stayed flat nationwide at 0.4% of all visits. Hospitalization is down 0.1% to 0.7% of all hospital visits. Death toll has remained flat, which is, I would like it to be 0. So for the week of May 4th, 2025, ending May 4th, because it takes about a month to process death certificates, there were 286 deaths in the United States. Primary cause was COVID. If we look at a year ago, same week, it was 426. If we go back to 2023, it was 946 deaths. If we go back to 2022, it was 1,435 deaths. If you go back to 2021, it was 4,006 deaths. And if you go back to the beginning in 2020 for the same week period, it was 11,203 deaths, 23 deaths. So we have come a long ways, but I looked at vaccination statistics for the 24-25. In Sandoval County, it was only 19% of people who got vaccinated. Luckily, most of them were our older population who were at most at risk. But I'm here to say that vaccinations do work. They're safe, especially for measles. We do not want to keep this up. Going to talk one more thing, avian flu. July 7th, the CDC came out and has decided they're going to move to monthly updates. They're no longer going to post anything on the CDC website from the USDA about animals and outbreaks. You have to dig through the USDA stuff now to find that. The latest flock was in Pennsylvania on 7/2, and it was a commercial flock. And we have not had any detected cases in New Mexico since April. So we're still proving pretty good. However, our migratory pattern was April, won't start again till fall, so that's when they will pick up. And COVID, water may be a little pickup, but nationally and in New Mexico, we're pretty low for COVID in the water. I thought I had written that down. Wastewater, New Mexico's low. That's wonderful. However, if you're visiting Texas, Louisiana, or Hawaii vacation time, they're very high. And then, or they're high. And then Nevada is the only state that's very high for wastewater. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, I guess not. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya. I'd like to have Steve Lusky come up now and kind of give a wrap up on Meadowlark and where you're headed next.
Okay. Mayor, councilors, administrator, Upper Meadowlark, we're finishing the punch list items and we're gonna hopefully get a walkthrough the next couple weeks with DOT and start to close that out. Lower Meadowlark, we put the speed tables on last week and both Upper and Lower Meadowlark are gonna be striped on Thursday. They didn't tell me if it was gonna be morning or afternoon. And I believe it's just a pilot car. I don't think they're gonna shut traffic down. The next project, if the water is, if the irrigation is done for the year, the next project would be Trosello. The crossing at Trosello, and once they put that in, we'll start on the road and making that alignment. Other than that, that's about all the updates I got. Any questions?
Mayor,
Yes.
this is Councilor Murray.
Oh, Councilor Murray, you go first.
So I owe Steve an apology. I gave him an apology on the 4th when we met behind the fire station, but I went back up and looked at the pathway at the west end, and it's okay. I didn't get a good look at it from the car when I was driving, but I went in and stopped and took a look at it, and it's fine. And I just want to apologize to Steve for raking over the coals for what I thought was a perceived problem, but it's not. So it looks good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's very nice. Very nice, Stuart. Okay,
Mayor.
awesome, awesome, brother.
Thanks, sir. Steve, I've gotten some inquiries about timing for any kind of retaining structure on that westernmost side, on the north side of Upper Meadowlark. Is that part of the punch list that's coming, or what's that?
No, it should be in the next few weeks where we're just setting up an account with utility block. And then once that goes through, we'll order the block and get it going. So it should be within a couple weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, Councilwoman.
Steve, the electronic speed sign, is that part of the punch list as well to go back up?
Yes, we're gonna have to put them back up when we order the new signs. We'll put that one back up as well.
Can you move it a little farther west?
Yes, yeah, we can.
Okay. It seems awfully close to Loma Larga, the way it was, so, thank you.
Steve, you might describe some of your initial conversations working with Rio Rancho on the crosswalk up in Rio Rancho.
Oh, yeah, I met the Public Works Director in Rio Rancho at a DOT event. And I had mentioned to him about the crosswalk, and he said within the next couple weeks, give him a call and we can go through that and see if they can do something on their side as far as looking at the crosswalk or redoing the crosswalk.
This is at the extreme west end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Anyone else? Stuart? Steve, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So a couple more items. I think that everything from seeing Counselor Alsobrook riding a tractor, looking sharp, to the largest number of people that people have reported being and watching the parade, to talking to Lynn Sieberts and the wet water portion. The parade was a great success. And, you know, we have to give a lot of credit because there's a lot of coordination that goes on. I know Lynn tried to organize and get a lot of online registrations this year, and that didn't necessarily happen, but it was peaceful. It was good. There was lots of planning done by the police department, the fire department, and everyone involved with the parade. So hats off to Kiwanis, to everybody else that was involved in it. So I think everybody had an own special experience, including myself.
But you didn't get wet.
No, I didn't get wet. I was well hid. So Counselor Murray, we had some discussion at the last meeting, and then we also had some discussion with Counselor Murray in an email about water testing here in Corrales. So what we're planning to do over the next 3 months is, and hopefully 3 months, is develop a program, a protocol for water testing that will be free for the residents of Corrales. And I want to frame this in the mindset that we're not trying to get into your personal well to see what you're doing. Because I know wells have a very specific personal aspect for the residents of Corrales. But what we are trying to do is look at wells. We've heard wells going dry in Corrales, personal wells, residential wells. And we also, in our 40-year water plan that's now 20 years old, talks about water testing. There's been water testing in Corrales in the past. And so what we're looking at doing is coming up with a program within the next 90 days that will also help us as we go forward trying to acquire the additional water rights that we've talked about and the council wants us to do. So one of the things, you know, when you do home water testing, there's various protocol that you can find. And whether you're talking with the EPA or whether you're talking with the state of New Mexico Environment Department, but one of the things that the EPA has recommended over the years to test water every year for total chloroform bacteria, nitrates, total dissolved solids, and pH levels, especially if you have a new well. So we do have some new wells here in the village, or have a replaced or repaired pumps on the well casing. So we're going to look at that and try to give the most comprehensive well testing free that we can for the residents of Corrales. And so you'll be hearing more about this as we try to build up this over the next 90 days. And it's, you know, we look at it as a really a public safety effort on the part of Corrales for the residents that live here. The last thing that I have is the standard LGIP number is $4,053,439. So that's it there.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Just a
Councilor Woman.
quick question, Ron. I mentioned at the last meeting about status of conversations with New Mexico DOT regarding the Pathways Project. And we had that meeting back in September. So have we heard anything yet?
No, you know, I haven't had no, we have not.
Okay.
Jim Kruger has played a big role in trying to initiate some of those conversations, but no, we haven't had any
I'm just thinking
conversation.
from an official perspective for the village would have reached
No.
out.
No, we have not.
Possibly by the next meeting?
We can ask, and we do
They'll
ask.
ask.
Yeah.
We
Thank
do
you.
ask.
Thank you.
Mayor, this is Councilor Murray.
Yes, sir, Councilman Murray.
So I also poked the bear from the my side on the Metropolitan Transportation Board procedure. Haven't heard anything back either, but I'm beginning to wonder, could we perceive, maybe put this through as a tip, a transportation infrastructure project? If we can get it into the Mr. Cog, I mean, we're funding it, but it may be something that we could put in on Mr. Cog and put it up in the agenda. I'm just curious, if this is maybe a possibility.
Until we ask, we don't know. So if you could, put down in writing what you're talking about, and then we can go to the Mr. Cog and ask them. You can talk about it whenever you have your meetings at Mr. Cog. There was one today that was dealing with a totally different subject, but we're also doing the SS4A. We're trying to get it done, and we might be able to somehow tie all this in because this is related to safe roads in the village for pedestrians, for bicyclists, for equestrians, for everyone. And maybe there's some way we can tie all this together.
Yes, Mr. Cog also has their safety action plan, which they have adopted. And I think this fits in just fine with it. And I'll pursue it from my side on the Metropolitan Transportation Board, and see what happens.
Yeah, we haven't heard a whisper from them. I mean,
Yeah.
just anyone else have any questions of administrator? Okay, we'll move on to Corleone's Forum. This section is for informational purposes only, not for discussion or debate, to inform the governing body of an issue or a concern that would not be addressed on the agenda during the business session. There will be a 3-minute time limit. Melanie, you have a list?
Sure do. We have 4 people tonight. Up first is Marty Sanchez. Marty, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Marty Sanchez, 338 Wagner Lane. Good evening, counselors, administration. I've had a few thoughts lately when it comes to developing or whatever it is we're supposed to be doing with the scuzzy ditch, the dirty ditch, whatever you want to call it. Going up and down that road, because I go up and down that road frequently. I've always marveled at how fabulous it is. It's not now, because a lot of things have been moved around. And I guess that was needed to put the fire hydrants in, and I get that. But I started thinking, okay, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it would be okay to kind of designate traffic, bikers, horses, whatever. And then I went in 50 different directions, quite honestly. And one of them was, what do I like about it? I've been going down that road for 50 years. Why do I like it? I like it because the trees started growing through it. There was a time when they weren't. They were on the banks. And I know they're there because there is no water, at least not where the ditch was. But the fact is, that's kind of unique. We're going to get rid of that. That was a question I had. Other things that came up in my mind were physical characteristics of what I love about that area and Corrales in general. And I want to see if this resonates with any of you guys. Obviously, open spaces, green or otherwise. I like dirt. Sorry. I like dirt. I love grass, but it takes maintenance. Dirt, not so much. But I like it. I like the dark skies. They're not as dark as they used to be because we all have those patio lights on now. And some of us are not real good neighbors and don't turn them off at night, but they're still darker than what you get anyplace else. The other thing that I have to say is I love seeing all kinds of animals. Not thrilled when the coyotes come into my yard, go natter, natter. Regardless, I get to see them. I just make sure my animals are not outside during that time because I've lost goats to them. But again, that's part of living in the country. Today, coming back from Bernalillo, I happened to drive by someplace over I'm not sure what road it was on, but it's right as you're coming into Corrales proper. There are longhorn steer there. I mean, this is really cool. How many kids have ever seen a longhorn steer? I didn't see one till I moved to Corrales. And those were only two that somebody that I knew had. These guys were kind of lounging there. So I get out and I'm taking pictures of them. And two of the, I would assume, the female cows were kind of nice. They wanted to come up and talk. The baby could not figure out what was going on, but the bull sure did. So I took my pictures and I kind of left.
Thanks, Marty. That's your time.
Okay. All I want to say is please remind yourself of these things. We do that ditch, we change it. We're changing it irrevocably.
Up next is Bill Perkins. Bill, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You will have
Melanie.
3 minutes and our timer seems to be malfunctioning, so we're going to time you on the phone. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mayor, Administrator, and counselors. I wanted to begin by saying as I've been attending these meetings more frequently, my appreciation for your work grows. I'm learning a lot by coming to these meetings, and I appreciate your work. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Just as our federal government appears to borrow another $3 trillion for the upcoming decade, our village seems prepared to borrow tens of millions of dollars to finance a massive plumbing project. And while our federal government seems okay with helping the rich with tax relief and at the expense of health care for the poor and working Americans, the village administration appears to be okay with requiring homeowners, whether wealthy or poor, to pay the not inconsiderable expenses and fees to hook up to the new plumbing system. And while these expenses and fees may not pose a significant burden to some of our affluent neighbors, other neighbors may find themselves under considerable pressure to come up with the funds to electrify, to plumb, and to pump their liquid waste into the new engineered plumbing system. Now, I've heard it suggested that government policies have in some cases in the past made it more difficult for longtime residents to remain in our village. Could this new initiative for a large engineering plumbing project serve as yet another push to nudge some of the lower income residents to leave? I hope not. But with this project, it appears that the rich may stand to benefit and that the working poor may again be required to endure still more hardship. This does not seem okay to me. Please find a better path for the water and for the people of this village. Thank you.
Next is Fred Hashimoto. Fred, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Fred Hashimoto. I live at 485 East La Entrada. At this time, I am not categorically opposed or for any wastewater sewer system, but I am strongly opposed to having it rammed through without first obtaining validating data and having an open discussion of questions and possible ramifications of it. The mayor's message of 627 stated, quote, "The administration was able to get a grant to determine if there was a potential problem with groundwater contamination," unquote. Well, if the Stantec report is the result of the grant, a village-wide problem with groundwater contamination was not demonstrated, period. I'm glad to hear about this program that Councilor Murray and administration has devised, working on about testing, free testing for groundwater or wells of residents in different parts of the village. I think that's great. I think it's a step in the right direction. Question I have is, where is the status of this $2 million planning grant, the architectural design grant? I know it's been talked about, but the preliminary engineering report has not been approved. It has problems with it. Did not give validation of any justification for proceeding with village-wide wastewater sewer system. And so I would guess the Stantec report is sort of like, And so given that it hasn't been approved or accepted, what is the status of the $2 million architectural planning grant? Are we still going on with it? Or are we going to wait till we get more data and discuss some of the issues that were brought up at the last council meeting, including mandates by the village, people who can't pay and that sort of stuff. But anyway, I'm glad that we're getting some more data. I'd love to be a part of any planning for any design of a program to look at well water and wastewater. But I'm curious, what's the status of the $2 million architectural design grant that's been kicked around? Anyway, thank you.
And our last speaker for the evening is Miss Salome Ward. If you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, Salome Ward, East Meadowlark, here in Corrales. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, administration, counselors. Recently we passed a comprehensive plan, and it's been reestablished that all of us value our rural, peaceful lifestyle and space, which differentiates us from our neighbors in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. I was at the June 18th Planning and Zoning meeting when the decision to demolish 4945 Corrales Road was made, I believe, at the request of Rachel Matthew Development. There is a village ordinance that states that any property on Corrales Road more than 50 years old should be evaluated for historic relevance prior to being demolished. It was disheartening to witness the push for the demolition of this home without an earnest attempt to look into its history. The Historical Society hadn't been contacted, and a quick database search stating the home's date being around 1970s was the only information given. All it took was one conversation with a lifetime Coraleña for me to learn that the home was much older than that and was from a longtime Coraleño family, the Silvas. I understand that the mysterious adobe home with the rustic wagon wheels, Santos, and expansive prickly pear cactus out front had seen better days, but it was similar to many homes that lined Corrales roads and that are becoming increasingly rare. I was disturbed at how easily this hand-built home by an old Hispanic Corrales family was slated for destruction so that Rachel Matthew Development can build a brand spanking new commercial development, should they be able to get their zoning change, which I'm sure they will. Also on Corrales Road, there's a big development happening with the Boxcar property, and that's done by Facility Build, which we all know, like they have their fancy urban downtown inspired banner out front, and they completed our new gym, which is great, but to the tune of $4 million. And also, more recently at our last council meeting, we were introduced to Stantec and their wastewater disposal system proposals, each which carried a price tag of over $100 million. They are one of the largest global engineering and architectural firms, and they just were granted the $844 million contract to develop the fairgrounds in Albuquerque. So I'm just bringing all this up because there's a very active conversation happening in the village about our future, about development, and all this kind of stuff. And I just want to say that not all change is progress. And I have a hard time believing those that say that all of these changes will not impact our rural cultural aspects of our village. Let's see. We only have to look at the projects that are already being carried out and proposed and the bidding and who is bidding on them to see that the foxes are already in the hen house. I believe this ties into the sewer project. No matter which way you say it, I think it's going to lead to development down the road. Many of you have pointed out before that it only takes 4 votes amongst you to change things here in the village. So I would just say to be very cautious about that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mayor, that's everyone.
Okay. So one other thing I wanted to bring up in the administrator's report, if Melanie will bring it up, I would encourage everyone to take advantage of a page that she has pretty much developed along with the help of other folks. And it's water in Corrales. And on this page, there's a lot of descriptions regarding water, including about testing your own water in your home. So I just wanted to bring it up to enlighten everyone or make them aware. You can look at I remember we had the 2020 Water Advisory Report, got water rights, something in there by Tessa Davidson. And this is one of the things that we will be using as we go forward with the acquisition of the water rights for the village. And the 40-year water plan is in there, which is now 20 years old. And that's one of the things that our team will be building up. We'll be having a new 40-year water plan that we'll be presenting to the state engineer. So there's a lot in there. If you've got a moment, you're interested in water. Everyone's interested in water in New Mexico, especially people in Texas who take our water from us. But take a look at it. It's a good resource. Melanie spent a lot of time putting it together. There's been a lot of resources that have come to her one of the things that we've done as we look at this water rights acquisition is we're learning how much we don't know. And as we do that, we have to learn how much we don't know as we go forward to the state engineer, because she will be asking us a lot of questions that we have to be able to fill the blanks in. But in the long run, we think it's going to be a really fine benefit for the village of Corrales, for the farmers of Corrales, for the people who need water here in Corrales. So just make aware of it.
That website can, that page on the website can be found if you go to the top and type in water. And then the page is titled Water in Corrales and should be the first thing that pops up when you search that.
Do you have a question, Bill?
Where was it?
Oh, she.
Thank you.
I read your mind, Counselor.
Water.
Oh,
in Corrales.
it's
That-
dangerous.
H2O.
H2O in Corrales.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, now we'll thank you. Thank you very much. Counselor's Forum. Section is for informational purposes only, not for discussion or debate. To inform the governing body of an issue or concern that would not be addressed on the agenda during the business session, a council member may respond to an issue or a concern brought up by a resident in the preceding Corleone's forum, but to remain in compliance with the Open Meetings Act, their subject will not be up for debate or discussion. Who wants to start out?
Mayor, this is Councilor Murray.
Fire away, Councilor Murray.
Thank you. So only two things. The Metropolitan Transportation Board meeting will not happen in July. We will meet in August. So I will look into the tip side of things and see if we can qualify for that. Also, tomorrow afternoon, I just want to point out that the Interior Drain Committee is meeting at 5:30. I forget where, but anyway, if you have comments, and I'm getting several emails about the interior drain. So tomorrow afternoon is a good time to bring that up at that meeting. So I just want to bring it up. Thank
Yes, he will be here at 5:30 and it will be available on Zoom.
Correct.
So anybody who wants to zoom in can do that. Anyone else? Yes, sir, Councilor Mira.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to let everybody know, FYI, I'm going to be holding a neighborhood meeting at the end of Calle Contenta and Corrales Road on Thursday morning. They have some concerns about traffic coming down and speed and so forth and so on, but we're having a neighborhood meeting. So if you see us in the street, please be careful.
Slow down.
For sure, slow down. We don't lose any more Corraleños, but it's going to be a nice neighborhood meeting in the street. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is actually just the minutes from last meeting. Last meeting, June 24th, 2025, regular council meeting. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, we got it. Anything that you see in there that you would think was incorrect or perhaps was not representative of what happened? I want you to know that Melanie did those. Melanie and Sky sat there and did those, and they reviewed the video at the same time, so they're pretty accurate. Okay, All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. New business, consideration action approval of resolution 25-22, co-sponsoring the 2025 Harvest Festival. Is anybody going to speak on any of these things?
I do believe we have a few members of the committee here if they would like to say anything.
I see one.
I see three.
Two, three.
Let her come forward.
Would you like to come speak? Let me rephrase that. Would you please come speak? I know you don't like to come speak. Okay. I think Lane can do a very good job.
You think I can?
Yeah, I think you can.
Hello, and thank you for having. It's good to see all your familiar faces. And yep, we're getting ready for the Harvest Festival once again. So we got our typical slate of partnership with the village to take care of first before we can initiate all of our event coordination, getting with our Parks and Rec to get our event application in order, and then coming over to here to get the last bit of that done. So I'm sure there's questions, but that's kind of the status of where we're at currently.
Councilor Waltman.
Mayor, I think you've answered this before, but I just wanted to have you reiterate that the Growers Market will be in its usual place on that Sunday morning?
Yes.
That is correct.
We have not quite yet done a site development plan so that we can move forward for the new growers market and finished all the things that the growers wanted to have for security and to make it safe for the customers who come, not only the vendors. Anyone else? So I guess we'll start meeting sometime in the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. See you very shortly. I'll get Molly and I.
Tony, would you like to say something? You need to come up here and introduce yourself, please.
Tony Messick, 44 Calle Amadea. I just want to point out, because there is some misconception apparently in the village about the reason that the Harvest Festival exists. It is a fundraiser for the Kiwanis Club of Corrales Foundation. Each of the last 3 years, it has netted $51,000, regardless of the revenue and the expenses. Each of the last 3 years came out to $51,000. No one on the committee is ever paid a cent. It is all used to fund some of the Kiwanis Club's activities. For instance, Camp Kiwanis, which took place earlier last month. We take about 30 kids out to camp about 20 miles south of Gallup at Vanderwagen. All expenses paid. They're fed. They are, we have nurses there. There are activities from morning to night. We try to teach them something about teamwork and some other life skills. And then we also either grant or award over $30,000 in each of the last 3 years to 501c3s that operate, generally speaking, within the village. Some are neighboring. But anyway, I just want to make it clear what the activity is and who benefits from it.
Well, it also celebrates the harvest.
It does. And we keep trying to include that. This year's Harvest Festival is going to have a couple of farm tours. It'll be very limited.
Yes.
But we're working on a morning and an afternoon tour, Saturday only, 4 different farms, each of the 2 tours. We obviously have a number of activities which don't directly relate to agriculture, but we do try to honor our agricultural heritage in this village through the festival.
Yes, sir. Councilor Waltman.
I've seen the first sign, I think, for running for pet mayor. Do we have any applicants as yet? Or
There's a slate.
Big, yeah, big.
Typically, we'll go with the slate of about 6 to 8 candidates, if not more.
And the other question is, of the 51,000, is the pet mayor fund that's raised for that separate and apart?
I did get some information on that from our treasurer. I believe we gave a grant to the Animal Control Services for $4,000 in December. And that money that's raised during the Pet Mayor auction, I think also the Pet Parade, are directly awarded to the Animal Services officers or
So
departments.
that's separate and apart from the 51,000. Great.
That's independent of all
of that. Yeah, good. Thanks very much.
Oh, yes, Councilor Alsobrooks.
Just to follow up to Tony's remarks about the fundraising and where the money goes. The Corrales Tractor Club has been a recipient of grants from this fundraising, the Harvest Festival, and we're a 501c3, and we don't use that to buy tractors or anything else. We turn around, we make 4-H, we give grant to groups like 4-H because our main purpose is education.
Good. Anyone else? Hey, guys, thank you.
Mr.
And
Mayor,
ladies, thank you too.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
we need a motion?
Yes, we do.
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
I'm sorry. I was thinking. Didn't know what you were talking about there for a second. Okay, we have a motion for and a second. All those in favor signify by, oh, no, you can't do that. Councilor Mira?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Councilor Knight?
Aye.
Councilor Alsobrooks?
Aye.
And Councilor Burkett?
Aye.
Councilor Murray?
Yes.
Okay. Consideration action approval of resolution 25-23 sponsoring the 2025 Christmas de los Caballos Parade. And who's here for that? Is anyone?
Patty Carroll's on Zoom, but she has asked Tanya to speak on behalf of the committee. She's their staff liaison.
Tanya of all trades.
Thank you, Mayor, councilors. I'm the staff liaison, and Christmas Day Caballos Parade does directly benefit the fire department and our food and present drive. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
What's
Okay.
the date? Do you have a date?
It's in November.
Yeah, I should.
It's in the resolution.
23rd.
Yeah.
We sat and we met about it. We wanted to do it far enough after Veterans Day to honor the veterans, and then not completely on top of
Right.
It takes
Thanksgiving.
place November 23rd at 1 p.m.
Thank you.
And this new group has been wonderful.
Councilor Murray, did you say something?
Yeah, I just, if you guys, want us counselors come out and grade the, entries and so forth. I like to have the numbers all where we can see them, because man, we had so many contestants go by.
Yeah.
I didn't know who to vote for, to tell you the truth, but, we had a lot of great entries that time, but, yes, please.
So thank you, Counselor Murray, for that. We try. We told them to all wear them on this side, their right side, because you guys were in the ex novo, I think, pond. Getting people to do what you ask and is maybe I splurge, and because I use the leftovers from Pet Parade. Thank you, Qantas, for the Christmas Day Caballos, and I actually pay for those. But maybe we give them each 2 numbers that they're the same, so you can have them one on each side.
They went by so fast that sometimes it was just great to see them, and then I forget to go score the entry because it just went by. So,
You may have been distracted there at Ex Novo.
no.
Minus children, yes.
Okay, anyone else? Tanya, thank you very much.
Thank you, and
for
thanks to
everything.
the committee that set this up.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay, so I need a motion to approve.
so
Here we
moved.
go. I need a second.
Second.
Anyone have any further discussion? How do you vote, Councilor Burkett?
Aye.
Councilor Alsobrooks?
Aye.
Councilor Knight?
Aye.
Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Councilor Miera?
Yes, sir.
And Councilor Murray?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Now we go to consideration action approval of resolution 25-24, directing the publication of a notice of meeting and intent to consider adoption of ordinance 25-02, amending the capital improvements plan for the far northwest sector of the village as adopted by ordinance number 390, passed and adopted September 14th, 2004, and is subsequently amended and listing
Really appreciate.
back fees. You know, we really should have a motion before this is talked about. So can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Murray. And in fact, Councilor Murray, you've been very much involved in this over the years.
Yeah, well, my name's on the paper, right? So anyway.
Yeah, well, it's all
but
over the paper.
Yeah, I guess my question is, really nothing has changed from the last acceptance or amendment, is that correct?
No. Yeah, Lori, could you just come? It's my impression that it's really not changed much. We just had to reaffirm it every 5 years. But Lori can give you the specifics.
Thank you, Mayor, Ron, councilors. So I'm the staff liaison for the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, or Commission rather. We met 3 times this year. And the reason we do this is that state law mandates a periodic review and update of land use assumptions and capital improvements when a municipality has chosen to impose an impact fee in a given area. And as you probably know, the far northwest sector is an impact fee area. So we have a residential and commercial impact fees chart that is subject to this review process. So I know you got many pages of stuff because the appendices go back to, you know, the beginning of all of this. But I can just tell you really quickly, in the actual draft ordinance 25-02, on the second page, the important thing is they say, make no changes to the existing impact fees chart. That is a recommendation to just keep it as is. And then there's also, it's not really labeled, but there is about 4 or 5 pages called the land use assumptions. And what we did in there is we just mentioned, we updated that as of now, there are about 95 residences built or under construction in the far northwest sector, up from around 70 5 years ago. And we also mentioned that there's an area, it's called Tract F. It's on the west side of Don Julio. The village owns this strip. There's a little bit of, I would just call it unfinished business. It's capital improvements, infrastructure. We just say that may be constructed. And we've included a drawing from Steve Roman's firm and an estimate to just upgrade the drainage. There isn't ideal. It needs to be fixed and some fencing needs to be put in. So that's all we put there. And then the capital improvements plan itself, again, that's about, I don't know, 10 pages. And we just updated it with the what we added, which is, again, now about 95 residents built or under construction. We mentioned that NMDOT has completed the roadway improvements to New Mexico 528 that connected Don Julio Road to the Industrial Park Service Road. So now folks don't have to do that really unsafe left turn that they used to have to do off the industrial. They connected Don Julio and then they can turn left at the light. So we just note that that is finished. And I think there were 1 or 2 other things. Yeah, we updated the EMS calls. Tanya provided us with new numbers. In 2020, the calls were actually a little low, but that was because of the pandemic reduced the number of calls. So we did include 2024 numbers, which, as you might expect, with more homes, there are more calls. And finally, we just reiterate that the existing charts have been reviewed and confirmed by the CIAC. And those charts are 3 pages and they're at the tail end of the capital improvements plan. And that's what we did.
So Lori, all the strikeouts that are in the plan, that was from previous revisions, is that correct?
Yes, sir. We just left those in as is because they had been left in prior.
Okay.
Councilor Knight?
So can you give us like a synopsis of what those impact fees are and what they do?
Sure. So the village put in quite a bit of infrastructure. Councilor Murray can correct me if I'm wrong year-wise, but starting around 2004, the village built a lot of infrastructure in there. And so there was a loan. 5 years ago, I asked finance what the remaining principal was on the loan. It was around $900,000. And as of, I think my last ask was around November of this past year, it was around $400,000. So we're still paying off the infrastructure. So the impact fees that come in now go to pay off that loan.
So do the citizens or the residents have to pay some of those fees or the village pays those?
Well, the impact fees go towards paying it off. And if there's not enough, I would assume it would come from the general fund. But these charts that are staying the same, there is a base, and I will find it here, a base impact fee for a residence, 25,961. So that is payable at the time of building permit. Someone comes in with a building permit, they pay that fee. There is also a calculation, and I had some notes in here about that if I can find it. Oh, here we go. So for a commercial impact fee, there's an Institute of Traffic Engineers trip generation estimate chart. And what that does for any given type of business based on specific uses, very specific uses and floor plan, they can determine the number of trips and therefore the impact. So in our existing impact fees chart, you plug those numbers in and it comes up with a number. But the important thing to remember is the commercial fee will never be less than the base residential fee.
Yeah, it was tough reading all of, trying to get through that.
I got through 73 pages.
Sorry.
I just landed on calling her, Mr. Mayor. I just want to acknowledge that she responded and she was great. But yes, there was a lot of reading.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Laurie, we approved, I think within the last year or so, one warehousing application for
Right.
the west of Don Julio.
What we did, and you're right, that's actually in one of these documents as well. There were 2 adjacent lots that were zoned commercial. Nothing's happening there yet, but they've gotten the zoning. Thank you.
So my question is, nothing ever seems to be happening there. And I'm wondering if we do any marketing for that, or are there problems that we can take a look at that might attract low impact businesses up there?
I think the main problem is the lack of water and sewer.
And there has been discussion.
There's a large landowner there who is going to try and hook up to Rio Rancho, and hopefully there would be, an opportunity to piggyback for other adjacent properties, which would be huge. Nobody wants to run even a small business through a septic tank.
Right.
If they have the option to just go across the border and lease somewhere else where that's included. That's the problem.
Mayor, is there any problem with working with Rio Rancho to run water lines into that area? I mean,
I don't think so.
Okay.
There wasn't in the past when we brought it up, excuse me, not getting close to this. There wasn't in the past when it was brought up. But there are a lot of problems. They're up there off of Don Julio, for example. There's not a lot of traffic up there.
No.
And if you're going to do a business, you want to have some traffic. And as Laurie pointed out, there's no sewer and no water, and you're paying a fairly substantial impact fee, which we talked about. Gosh, I don't know how many years ago I was on that committee. And I think it was still around 12,000 at that time. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure it was ever at 12,000. It just seems like that was a number that came up. But anyway, it was much lower than 25. And but the loan has to be paid back. And so that's what has been determined to be and it's been held at that rate for how long now? Couple of,
This is my second time. We do
Yeah.
this every 5 years. So I was for
So it's
here
like-
for the 2020.
so it's like,
obviously.
oh, okay. So it's been, it's
I'm just wondering in terms of professional offices, doctors, accountants, lawyers, those kinds of things.
I don't know.
Okay.
And it backs up right up against their backyards. They're commercial, so it's in their best interest too.
Well, but there are other issues with those types of, you're getting into things that I've sort of not paid a lot of attention to lately because we're doing other things in the community. But no, that's a good point. It was brought up some years ago. I think when Cominiac was mayor, about trying to get some more interest up there.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. So
Thank
that's
you.
the easiest way I can describe it. It's difficult. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Lori, thank you very much. Okay, so this is just the resolution to publish and post. Are we ready to vote? How do you vote, Council Burkett?
Yes.
Council Alsobrook?
Aye.
Councilor Knight?
Aye.
Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Councilor Miera?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Murray?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I didn't ask if we had anybody who wanted to talk about this.
Nobody signed up.
Okay.
And I do need all council members to sign the resolution before you leave tonight, please.
Oh, there you go. You remembered. Yeah.
That's
But
why I'm
Councilor
at home.
Murray unfortunately is not here, and so he'll have to.
Yeah, Council
sign
Murray,
it.
I will scan it in and email it to you tomorrow for your digital signature.
Okay.
Okey-dokey.
So future agenda items include the public meeting to view the interior drain plan, stress plan on July 9th at 5:30 here in the council chambers and also on Zoom.
Yep.
Adoption approval of interior drain plan, July 22nd. Approval of final budget, July 22nd. Approval of fourth quarter report, July 22nd. Approval of capital assets list, July 22nd. Year-end
Here.
budget adjustment resolution approval on July 22nd, and a work study to discuss the noise ordinance options on July 29th at 3 PM, also in here. Does anyone else have anything they want to put on future agenda items? Okay. Since we've completed the business session, this meeting is adjourned.